It's the same thing with like meatless Mondays. Like we don't have like homophobic free Tuesdays. Like it's every day is homophobia free, right?
Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. A lot of you really enjoyed the last videos I made where I was reacting to Jubilee or middle ground videos, so I thought let's do another one. Before we get into it, as always, you know what I'm gonna ask. Please subscribe and hit the notification button, and thank you so much for everyone who's been leaving comments to boost the algorithm as well, since YouTube punished me hard for the short break that I took a few months ago. Also, if you want to follow me on other social media platforms, feel free to do that as well. So today's video is actually going to be different from the two previous ones because this time all of them are vegan, and it's actually about whether or not vegans agree with each other on everything. So without making you wait any longer, let's get to the video.
To eat at a table where people are eating animal products. In my mind, it's the same thing as if like you're eating a dog or a child in front of me.
I like this. Oh wait, yeah. That woman on the left is actually in the previous video as well. If you wanna watch any of the previous videos, do check out these links.
You can be vegan for reasons other than ethical. 3, 2, 1.
I guess it's just like in the definition, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude as far as practicable and possible all forms of animal exploitation and cruelty to animals for any reason, clothing, food.
He got the definition by heart. That is next level. And I completely agree with him.
It's about animals being ethical for them.
I didn't become vegan with any sort of ethical reasoning in mind. I just was very sick all the time, and I just had an inclination that if I stopped eating animal byproducts that I would feel better, and I did. And all the ethical reasons came as a result of me looking at my health and seeing that change. I definitely have stayed vegan because of ethical reasons, but I became vegan for my health.
I became vegan.
So this is a bit of a gray area because if she went vegan at first for health reasons, all right, so she was eating plant-based and then the ethical part came, I think it's fair to say that she's an ethical vegan and she sees veganism as an ethical stance, and she made it very clear that she stayed vegan for ethical reasons as well. So yeah, I don't really disagree with her.
Vegan for health reasons, but I think the end goal of veganism is animal liberation. So I feel like that's more plant-based when you're vegan for health or vegan for something else, because at the end of the day, we seek to use products that have no animals in them at all.
The reason why I went vegan was for the environment. Climate change is real. You could do more good for the environment by being vegan than giving up your car, which is insane. I guess the ethics came afterwards, which is why I agree with you guys. I feel like we both think the same things, but why I started wasn't for ethics, which is why I'm here.
I will not buy or cook non-vegan items in loved ones. 3, 2, 1.
No.
This one's tough because I've bought like a chicken burrito for my brother. He would go get it anyway, and that's maybe not the best way to go about it. Maybe I should deter him, but the way I try to promote my diet is just by being an example and not by forcing it into someone else, because I just think that if maybe like I had bought a vegan burrito, he would just like be resentful of veganism even more because he didn't get what he wanted.
I mean, she's talking about the tactic that she's using with her brother, but I would ask her if she would do the same if her brother asked to get a burrito made with dog meat, for example. Most people would oppose that. Most people would never allow any of their family members to do something like that to a dog. But due to speciesism and society conditioning that we grew up in and surrounded by all the time, I think people see it in a different way unconsciously when it comes to other animals, such as a chicken. I do hope that her tactic works on her brother, but I personally would never buy a dead animal for someone else. Just the same way I wouldn't buy a dead baby for someone else, like a human baby. I mean, okay, that is a bit exaggerated since you can't really buy that in a supermarket. But okay, let's say if I know that there's a chocolate company that uses child labor and slavery for their cacao, I wouldn't buy it for someone who knows that that's what the company is doing and is asking me to do a favor. I would just tell them, like, I'm going to go there, I'm going to get you an ethical vegan chocolate bar. So yeah.
Buying it or preparing animal products or anything that's not vegan for somebody is enabling them to fund the very oppression that I'm against. Like for me, I've taken the liberation pledge. So like I'll refuse to eat at a table where people are eating animal products. In my mind, it's the same thing as if like you're eating a dog or a child in front of me. You're not gonna wanna like stay at that table and be with that. You're gonna wanna like try to change those people.
This is the first time I see Jubilee bring in a real vegan. I don't like saying that, but obviously someone who is for animal rights and takes animal rights very seriously.
Okay, so if you're gonna try to change people, don't you think it'd be beneficial to sit with them because then you could expose them to your point of view?
So actually, every single person that I've told the Liberation Pledge about, they've had no problem changing their meals and going to vegan restaurants with me. If you care about me as a person, how could you not change one meal?
My approach is like,
I also want to add something, which is it's easier for people to grasp and understand and agree with veganism when they're talking to you and eating a vegan meal rather than when they're eating a non-vegan meal, because it's difficult for the human mind, and this is backed up by studies, to actually say like, yeah, I think animals should be taken into our moral consideration while actually eating that animal body parts. So if you want to expose people to your ideas, then make sure you invite them to have vegan food with you and then talk about veganism, and I assure you they're going to be much more open than if they're eating meat or any other animal product in front of you.
leading by example, right? All of my family knows you're not going to come to my house and bring any animals in or ask me to prepare it, but I do a lot of cooking. So I think what has brought me a lot of joy is like taking everything that I know my family loves to eat and veganizing it. And I've seen like my mom, my dad, and my brother, who I never thought would go vegan in a million years, go vegan. And I do know that if I would have had the approach of like judging them or, you know, coming too aggressive, it would not have been met with love or understanding at all. Not forcing it on them, it has actually helped them come over to the dark side.
You're still vegan if you allow yourself an exception occasionally. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Where do you draw the line then, I guess? Like you're bending your own morals every once in a while. It's the same thing with like meatless Mondays. Like we don't have like homophobic free Tuesdays. Like it's every day is homophobia free, right? So like it's the same thing for me.
I love the consistency.
It's like you slip up, it's like saying like, oh yeah, I just am like totally fine with certain amounts of exploitation if I'm doing it.
Say you're traveling and it's genuinely hard to find like vegan food. You can't like survive on like just like lettuce all the time. And in certain like cultures, like say like China, like it's really hard to find something without meat.
I've grown up in different countries and surrounded by different cultures, and we live in a place where veganism is almost mainstream and it's super accessible, but there's developing countries where that's just not the case.
I have to say, most of the developing countries actually rely on plant-based foods. Most of them, obviously, there are some exceptions. So,
Beyond Burgers, Gardein, like those aren't accessible worldwide. We have fruits and vegetables everywhere. And like, I don't want to just tell everyone to only eat like
There's food
basic
deserts
plants,
though, and
but-
in food deserts that's not necessarily always true. Because I've been in these situations where it's just not really a sustainable option to feed yourself 100% vegan.
Is it more of like a convenience thing, Or is it more of a like, it's really, there's literally nothing available. There's not a banana or an apple or a bean.
I spent 3 months near the Arctic Circle in Iceland. And in Iceland, their diet is just, it's such a cold climate.
I have to say something, like, if you know you're going somewhere and the result of you going there means you're gonna eat animals, how about just don't go there? Like, if you're vegan already, like, why would I go there? Okay, so obviously I have to do a small exception here. I have no idea why she was there. Okay, so I'm not gonna, this is not gonna be personal on her, but I have heard this many times. So like, people go like, oh, well, I went to spend the summer in traveling around different African countries, and in some places I had to eat chicken. But it's like, if you know that there is no vegan food there that's available for you, all right, why do you go there? I don't get it. Like, especially if you're traveling for fun, like, how do you even justify that, like, ethically speaking?
All like sheep, fish, you know, it's really dairy, because
But they don't
that's
have
what
any
the
fruits or
land,
vegetables out there whatsoever at all.
the climate doesn't allow for that unless you're building greenhouses, which, you know, is like how they're moving. But in remote villages where there's only 20 people, you know, you can forage flowers to make tea and like little berries here and there, but that doesn't sustain people for the kind of climate that they experience.
I've been bullied for being vegan. 3, 2, 1.
Where I come from, Orange County, is just a really nice place to be vegan. People really understand why people are vegan. Every now and then you get the, bro, you look like you need a hamburger, but I mean, it's not that bad.
I became vegan in 2006, and I didn't know anybody else who didn't eat meat or was vegan. Like, I got left out of like a lot of dinner plans and stuff like that with family and friends. They didn't want to pick somewhere that I could also eat at. They wanted to stay with what they wanted to eat. I don't think that I feel bullied for being vegan now, but when I first became vegan, I definitely did.
I get people who try to take like my blackness away. They'll say, you're not black if you're vegan. How can you be black and vegan? And it really does mess with your head. I'll get a lot of social media bullying to the point where sometimes it does affect my mental health.
I just quickly want to say something. I mentioned this point of erasing, let's say, people of color or indigenous people who are vegan. If you want to check that video, click on this link.
Because I try to be a good person, but just someone finds out you're vegan and it's like the world hates you. And I think it's really easy to bully people online.
If you wear leather, you are not vegan. 3, 2, 1.
I think if you consciously consume leather and buy it and wear it because you want to and you're conscious of that choice, then it's not vegan. But the way our society is structured, there's so many accidental cases in which you could be owning or wearing a vegan thing. Like, you ride a bike, a lot of bike seats are leather, and it's hard to always know exactly what you're purchasing.
To me, it's like just not fair to the animals for us to like abuse our own ignorance and not actually take the time to research.
I think people do have excuses, especially in like poorer neighborhoods. They're working so much, they don't have the time to consciously go out and research about veganism. I think that's more of an issue that comes when you have more income and more choice. And I just want to say, yeah, by the way, this is fake leather, this is fake leather.
Don't tear them apart in the comments.
Yeah, please guys.
I think it's really important though that we like have a very clear message of what veganism is, because when we start to make excuses, then people who aren't vegan and are just learning about it, they have a confused message of what it is.
You are a better person if you were vegan. 3, 2, 1.
So I wouldn't say like I'm a better person than other people in general, but me as an individual, I am a better person than I ever was before. And I guarantee that anyone who goes vegan will be a better version of themselves.
I think I'm a better person because I'm vegan, but I know vegans who are racist and homophobic, and to me, they aren't good people, you know? I think they make good choices, when it comes to what they consume.
I think
Yeah.
to be vegan, which is why I was in somewhat disagree, because I feel like if you're racist and you're homophobic or you're an oppressor, I feel like that's very anti-vegan. Just in my personal opinion, I feel like vegan is an anti-discrimination, anti-oppression movement.
I completely agree with that. Of course, like the philosophy and the ethics behind animal rights go hand in hand with the ethics and philosophy of human rights. So if you are vegan and if you believe in animal rights and respecting animal rights and not violating their rights, then how could you logically not have the same stance when it comes to human rights?
It's really hard to be racist and be vegan. I would not consider you vegan if you're homophobic or racist or something like that, because we are animals. How can you be discriminating against humans in that form? So that's why I'm here, as someone who's truly vegan, who is of those values. In my personal opinion, I don't feel like they're better, but I feel like they are a good person.
I love learning from you guys.
Yeah,
I never really get that.
Yeah, group hug, group hug. Hey, vegans unite!
Wow, I mean, I'm a vegan, but there's so much more past diet that I haven't even considered.
I just realized, yeah, of course, Brandon was from the other video that I linked in the beginning. The one where it was 7 vegans, but actually one of them was a meat eater and they thought he's not vegan because he didn't really know the ethical side. He went vegan for his health and he wasn't very sure about some products, whether or not they're cruelty-free and vegan and things like that. But that's interesting.
Whether you are an omnivore or a vegan, I think we can agree that the way we eat is always evolving, which reminds me of an amazing show on...
All right, that's it for today. Just wanted to do a quick reaction video to that, since many of you asked me to do this with more Jubilee videos. If there are any more, I think there's one more for sure. I'll be doing them. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, and who do you agree with the most? Actually, I want to hear that. I want to know who do you agree with the most from every single vegan who was there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to support my work, these videos and everything I do other than this, such as helping run the Animal Rights Center in Lebanon and all the programs and the campaigns we're running there, the ebook that's coming out soon in 19 languages, feel free to check out my website sebalex.org or also ethicsOverhabits.com for vegan fair trade and organic merchandise. Don't forget to please subscribe and hit the notification button. I'll see you in the next video.